Yellow.
Yellow.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I mean, I can. Just give me... It's like, I don't know what the fuck my car's doing. It's all fucked. This whole fucking thing. Really? That's what you're gonna do to me? You're gonna do me like that? You're gonna do me like that? Fucking fuck. So we're gonna do it? We're just gonna do it like that, then?
Don't do me like
No, we're gonna do
that.
it.
Don't do me like that.
Oh.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Don't do me like that.
I hear you. Are you there?
Yeah, you got me?
Oh my god.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Dude, it fucking blasted my eardrums, dude.
That's what I do.
Shit.
That's what I do.
Yeah. So how goes it?
Not bad. How you doing?
Feeling a little under the weather, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
A little under, yeah. Got a sore throat and a cough. It just fucking won't quit. So, I'm on a decent amount of fucking Robitussin. So I make less sense than I normally do, which isn't much sense. Because I'm pretty fucked on Robitussin probably right now at the moment.
Wow.
Well, I took some earlier, and then I'm like, all right, I'll be good. And then I was still coughing. I'm like, dude, I can't be coughing the whole fucking podcast. So I just took some more like an hour ago, and now I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, maybe I shouldn't have took that much Robitussin. Because, I don't do anything anymore, so, anything affects me way more than it used to. Anything does, yeah.
Oh, you mean you didn't drink the whole... Oh, so you didn't drink the whole bottle is what you're saying.
No, dude, I just took, double dose.
That's
it wasn't
weird.
even, at the same time. It was well, I don't know. I feel, it has a little measurement on the cap, but, who really goes by that? You fill the cap all the way out.
No. Oh, I don't even do that. I just drink right out of the bottle.
Chug it right out? Yeah.
I was like, well, in my early years, I drank this whole bottle, so as long as I do less than that, I'm going to be all right.
I ain't going to hurt me.
Jesus.
It did, though. We killed probably 60 to 90 brain cells, dude, and literally almost drowned in a puddle at a park, so yeah. Yeah.
How many brain cells are there? 60 to 90, a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Really, I think we have thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of brain cells, but probably not, no. I was just throwing a number out there.
No, you worried me.
That sounds like an appropriate number of brain cells.
60 to 90 per each time we fucked with that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with, yeah.
Okay. Well, if only we had some real health advice.
Yeah, we don't, though.
Right.
I mean, I guess I should know what I'm talking about, but it's very rare that I do. It's very rare. More often than not, when I'm teaching, I just make stuff up and pretend like I know what I'm talking about, and then just hope that nobody catches on to that.
Well, and why would they? They've probably, they've probably zoned off by then anyways, and so...
Right, yeah, they're not paying attention. I'm talking all kind of crazy shit, and they just don't even know the difference.
And really, you're just talking about how to save people's lives is all, really. So it's not even that important.
Yeah, it's not important.
Right,
It's not important.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, I think I do a pretty good job of teaching. I do good. My students do really well, so I must do all right. I kind of know what I'm talking about with some things. I just don't know how many brain cells there are in the brain.
Sure. Well, we're going to put you to the test today on episode 5. We're going to get it started with Mike and Jake talking about the healthcare system.
Yay, healthcare.
In America. I guess.
Yes. America and associated places.
Yeah. Well,
which is good.
I really don't know.
You know what else is good?
What's good?
Fiji water. I'm drinking it right now, and it's delicious.
Is it, though, compared to other water? Is it the minerals in it, or...
Yeah, I can taste the minerals on my tonsils right now.
Really?
And it might just be because I'm fucked up on this robitussin,
I don't
but
think you really can.
I can.
I really don't.
I think it might. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm telling you what, dude. I can feel them rubbing on my tonsils, and they feel good because my tonsils are pretty swollen.
So you're on Robitussin.
Yeah, so to everyone, if I sound like more shit than normal, that's why. I'm sure we recorded that because I didn't know we were recording that, but I'm just reiterating.
It's all there. It's all there.
Sure. I'm pretty used to the fact, I just, go ahead and assume any time that you call me that we're recording. Even just during the day, whatever, it's just any time, I just assume that you're recording.
I'm going to get you one of those times. I really am.
During the daytime?
Yeah.
Just randomly, when you call me, on your way home from work and stuff. Yeah. I always assume it's going to pop out one of these days, yeah.
There'll be a picture of me that winds up somewhere on the internet of, a car next to me stopped at a red light, takes a picture into my car because I have, a mic stand set up in front of my steering wheel, you know?
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. It'll be a Facebook phenomena.
What the
For
fuck?
sure.
So you drank Robitussin, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, the kind that does not have, Tylenol or anything like that, and then I try to stay away from that stuff.
What we used to drink was Delsum.
Correct.
And we drank that not to fix an illness. We drank that for fun.
No. Yes. Correct.
And
dextromethorphan.
That's the one. Yeah, dextromethorphan. Uh-huh.
Yep.
I remember though, and it was so if you drink a bottle of that, and we drank it was a 3.5 ounce bottle maybe?
I don't know. We kind of went back and forth between the smaller bottles and the bigger bottles. There was times we definitely drank the bigger bottles, but yeah.
So tell me though, now that you are grown up and a wise man, what we used to do is we would drink it, but then we'd buy our own orange juices as well to drink while fucked up on it, because the saying was that the vitamin C enhanced it. Now, is that true?
I don't think so. I can't see any reason.
Really?
Why?
Really?
No, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, so dextromethorphan is definitely a dissociative, and I know it's related to cyclohexylamines. I think that's what they're called,
you gotta
PCP,
slow down.
the class of drug. I think they're related to that. I don't know that they are exactly
what are those?
Cyclohexylamines. It's a class of drug. It's ketamine, PCP, PCE. There's a lot of
That's what we were doing?
designer drugs.
Wait, what?
No, we were doing dextromethorphan. It just happens to be similar, chemically similar to those drugs.
Okay.
It's a dissociative.
So how about
Which is
2CB? Do you remember that stuff?
Yeah, I do. I have fond memories of that. I have my fondest memory of that drug was at my bachelor party. My first bachelor party, I should say.
I do believe that was the time that some friends to be unnamed hopped a fence to a business and drove a forklift through their wall.
Could be.
These are the same friends that at your wedding reception, your first wedding reception, flipped a golf cart.
That I know is a fact, and I know it was a security cart, first of all. So they stole it from the security and took it and drove it over top of my campsite. Now, I will say, in all honesty, I do not remember the forklift incident that you're speaking of.
It might have been a different night, but it was that house. It might have been a different night. And it was that house, and there was... I don't
know. If that was happening, I mean, I was pretty twisted that night.
Everybody was.
I do not recall somebody driving a forklift through.
Yeah, well, so it might have been... Again, it might not have been that night. I don't... But it was still when they were in that house, and the business across the street, you probably remember that, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they left their forklift outside, and so those same those same dudes hopped the fence, realized that they left the key in the forklift, and they fucked around with the forklift and wound up driving it straight through the cinder block wall.
My God! How did they not get fucking arrested?
And they ditched it and went back home. The next day, this fucking business didn't have cameras, and so the next day, when it was reported, the cops and everything, like, it was like, well, obviously, if there was any fucking idiots on this street, it would be that house right there that would do it. So they knocked on that.
Sure.
They knocked on the house door, and I don't remember who answered, but they were like half question. They were more like, guys, really? What did you like?
You guys really?
You really did this?
Doing this shit?
And they were all, in unison, just like, what? No, that's crazy. And you can't prove anything, and that's that. That was that.
Wow, dude. Yeah, I do not. I'm glad I was not involved with those shenanigans. Like, I can say that I'm happy that I was not involved with that, because that would be another thing for me to feel guilty about. That I don't need any more things to feel guilty about from that period of my life.
You and I both.
But
let's get into.
Anyway,
let's get into.
Let's talk about some health care.
Yeah.
You have insurance?
I do. I pay a fuck ton.
Okay. I do too. I also have insurance. I also pay a fuck ton. So this is private insurance, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not private, but like you get it from an employer.
Yeah. Through my employer.
Okay.
It's like I believe it's just Anthem.
It's probably like an HMO, I would imagine.
I don't even know that much, honestly.
I would assume.
It's all like the problem that I have with healthcare and all of that is that it's a lot like law, where it's just like, why do you have to be so wordy? Just make it more blunt. Like, just be upfront with me. Don't make it so wordy and all these different packages. Like, listen, it's going to cost you this much, but it'll cover X, Y, and Z. But they don't do that.
It's like, it's going to cover this much, but you're going to have to pay it anyway. It's like, you're fucked. So,
right.
Like, we are fucking you, and, like, you know it. Like, there's no reason for us to make it more difficult than it is for us to fuck you. So let's just call it what it is. And,
right. Let's just call it what it is.
You're going to pay us a lot of money. We're not going to really cover anything that we say that we're going to.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you a hard time, even if you're on your deathbed, about paying anything. So, but you're going to have to pay it anyways.
It's messed up, and I don't understand how other countries operate with just the whole free healthcare stuff. Like, I don't understand.
Taxes. I mean, like, I'm sure there's more to it than that, and I'm sure, like...
Well, I understand the taxes part, but, like, what more, like, how much more percentage for the taxes? You know what I mean? And at that point, why, like, is it worth us looking into it? You know, like...
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't, I personally don't want to pay 50% of my wages in taxes, because I wouldn't make enough money to survive. Like, I do well for myself now, but literally if I were to cut that in half, like, I would just be making it. And then at that point, what would be the purpose of me having the education and the job I do and, like, the title that I do, because I've worked really hard for that, like, when I would be making, like, what essentially, like, food service or, like, entry-level position people make? Like, what would the purpose then be? Like, why would I have went to get that education anyways? You know what I mean?
I can understand that, and I think that's just a product of where we're at now with what a giant conglomerate it is now already, right?
Right, sure.
Where to make a difference, you're gonna have issues like that, where, like, on that same note, like, where I also do all right, but my health insurance pays for myself, my wife, my child, and soon a second child. So
right.
my wages are maybe 10% away from being 50% cut in half already anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you mean like after, like if you consider like what you're paying for health insurance, you mean?
Yeah. Health insurance, 401k,
okay,
taxes, when you put...
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much there with you. Like, I mean, like, but then again, you'd still, I mean, I guess health insurance would be free at that point, and you wouldn't be paying for that, so that's good. But, I mean, I know the countries that do it operate at pretty close to 50% of like the amount that they you know, like your overall wages, like 50% would go to taxes, and that might not be the exact number, but and again, I don't have like paperwork, so I guess don't quote me on that, but like I'm almost positive I've read that about, like, I feel like Switzerland maybe, because I know they have universal health care. There's a couple other places, like maybe the Netherlands, I believe, have universal kind of health care, like that kind of thing going on for them. So, and I believe, like I said, from what I've read, just from like what people, like at least online from those countries, it's about 50%. I know, I just like, and I know this is like the worst site you could, I mean, like not worst site, but like worst citation you could ever use. But like I was, there was just a thing on Reddit about healthcare, and like, there were people like weighing in from different countries, and there were quite a few that said like, universal healthcare is great. We don't like paying 50% of our taxes. Like, that sucks. But universal healthcare is great.
Sure.
So, I mean, like, I don't know, how much is Canada's? Like, I'd be, let's play smarter, not harder here. Let's see, let's ask old Dr. Google what the tax rate in Canada is. Don't say that, dude's going to turn on. It's going to be like, what are you trying to say? And then at this point, I'm fucked out, so I'd be like, Google, it's good to see you. Nice to talk to you again, friend. It would take on a personification, and I would have to speak with it. I hate feeling obligated to speak to robots, dude. That makes me so mad. It makes me so angry. I'm not a big robot fan. I'll throw that out there now.
A big what?
Robot fan. Don't like robots. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I don't believe in them. Oh, God. There's so many words here.
Well, so I'm looking at a 2016 thing for Canada here. So the Canadian Institute for Health Information believes Canada spent approximately $228 billion on healthcare in 2016. That is
$228 billion.
That is 11.1% of Canada's entire GDP for every Canadian resident. So nowhere near your 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing like anywhere between 15 and 26%. Okay, so healthcare in Canada is not free. While Canadians may not pay directly for medical services, they pay a substantial amount in money for healthcare through taxes, bankrolls, healthcare, yada, yada, yada. So, okay, like, where's that? I want those numbers. That's what I'm looking. A PDF, motherfucker. Really? So this is like, I don't know, this article kind of fucks with my head because it looks like it's going on to like be like, well, they're paying for it in taxes. But then it says like their talking point here is healthcare in Canada costs a typical Canadian family more than $11,000. And I'm assuming that's a year. And I'm paying a fuck ton more than $11,000 a year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's what you have to take into account when it comes to like what an American like what that overall number would be for America is automatically going to be higher because of how much we push pills onto people who don't necessarily need them. Does that make sense?
Pharmaceuticals, you mean? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, I was right. I was right about the Netherlands. It's 52%.
52%.
Sorry, I don't mean to.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 52%. Yeah, that's what the
That's
I thought
crazy.
it was See, I'm not totally crazy. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, here's what I'm going to say about that. I like being in the medical field. I hear that a lot, but at the same time, we really don't like to prescribe medications that like people don't necessarily need, because really all that does is complicate things for doctors. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there pill companies out there, pharmaceutical companies out there in doctors' offices? Well, I don't think they're allowed anymore to be in doctors' offices, but they can like meet with doctors, you know, give them free samples, try to push their medicines, that kind of thing. Which free samples are nice. I mean, like, because that gives the doctor an opportunity to give people, you know, pills like or medications that they may not be able to afford.
Yeah, but that's more or less lobbying. That's more or less lobbying for you to promote our product over fucking douchebag's product because our product works better, blah, blah, blah.
Right, and I mean, but really, is that if you're going to prescribe one or the other anyways, because somebody has a heart condition, does it matter which? I mean, ultimately, you just want which one works better.
That's a lot different.
That's what I mean. I think people think that like doctors are out to like just like rob them and make the like pill pushers. Really, like, and I work with quite a few doctors, and like I mean, I don't want to again give away too much information about myself.
There's a difference between good doctors and bad doctors, and their understanding of what they can get away with. Right, I think that doctors in America could, if wanted, could get away with prescribing more than, say, a doctor in England.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could, yes. But again, they don't really have any reason to. Like, they're not really benefiting from pushing these medications. Like, they're not, I mean, like, there used to be payoffs from, like, pharmaceutical companies or, like, they would, like, buy you nights. But, I mean, really, that's, like, so, at least a lot more regulated now than it was. I'm not saying there's not a problem with pharmaceutical companies, but at the same time, I will say this. An average doctor, your average Joe doctor, I'm not saying they don't get paid a lot. They do. They make good money. But for as much work as they do, like if they weren't doing it for the reasons of wanting to help their patients, if that wasn't their primary goal, then there would be other jobs that they could do where they would do half as much work as what they're doing and make as much money. I mean, like, literally, like, there is so many jobs that, like, nowadays can make that amount, because doctors really don't make that much. I think that's one of the big misconceptions about physicians, like MDs, is that they are just fucking stacked. I'm not saying they don't make good money, but, like, they pay so much in malpractice. I have a friend, two friends, like they're a couple, they're a husband and wife, and both of them work at the same hospital. And one of them works as just an internalist, just a regular MD on the med-surg floor, and one of them is a nurse, an RN, and she's been there for about 8-10 years. And at the end of the day, when it's all said and done after malpractice, my friend who's the RN, she makes more money than her husband does.
I need you to explain a malpractice fee.
Malpractice insurance is you pay for insurance, like just like the famous like car insurance, like where you're paying for in the case of an accident, your insurance company will pay for it. Malpractice is the same thing. Like if you get sued or you make a mistake, like instead of you personally being sued, the malpractice insurance company will pay for that lawsuit. But you're paying them a ton of money monthly for that insurance.
Do you have any idea how much that is?
I don't. I just know that it's quite a bit. Like, I know that they pay quite, I mean, obviously they do, because like I said, if she ends up bringing home more a day than he does, or more even, more a year than he does, then obviously, like, that malpractice is a decent chunk. Because you got to think, like, doctors make, anywhere between, let's say, and we'll say not like specialists, because I know there's specialists who make some good money. We'll say anywhere between $120,000 a year, at least in our area.
So it says, so here it says, for example, malpractice costs it says in Minnesota could cost anywhere from $4,000 to $17,000 per year. depending on your specialty. But in California, a surgeon can expect to pay anywhere from $22,000 to $34,000. So
that's crazy.
So
that is fucking bananas, dude. That is like a salary of a normal person. That is fucking bananas.
It is, but there's still something called a malpractice insurance tax deductible.
And I don't know how that works. I mean,
I'm just saying, there's more to it.
There very, very, very well may be. All I'm saying is doctors really, like, they do not make as much as... I have friends who are, like, nurses that are specialty nurses that make almost as much as doctors do. And, like, they went to school half as long, and they do half as much work as doctors. Because doctors fucking work their asses off. Like, they work their asses off. They run around constantly. They're doing their, rotations at the hospitals that they're, their attendees at. They're going to their home office and taking visits there. They're going to...
So, just for the U.S. alone, this isn't state specific. This is just the U.S. alone. The mean salary of a doctor is $313,000 a year. So I think they can afford the $34,000 insurance.
I find that hard to believe.
Again, that's not per state. That is the
just in general.
That is the USA.
And that specialties included, I would assume.
Average doctor salaries rose to $313,000 from $299,000 last year, according to the Medscape Physician Compensation Report 2019. The report is in the most comprehensive doctor salary report in the U.S. So, representing almost 20,000 physicians in more than 30 specialties. So, yeah, more than 30 specialties. I don't know what those are, but...
Right. Because specialty physicians can make a fuck-ass ton of money. Like,
well, I don't doubt it.
Ton of money. But I'm just, like, your average home doctor. And again, like I said, I'm not at all trying to say, like, they're broke or they don't make good money. I'm just saying they work for their money. Like, I don't know any doctors who don't legitimately, like, care about, like, what is best for their patients over anything else. Like, in the healthcare field in general, is there good money in it? Absolutely. But, again, there's so many other jobs just in general in the healthcare field that are in general that, like, pay more than, like, what you'd be doing in the healthcare field, and you'd be doing half the amount of work. Like, I personally am a nurse, and I teach nurses, and I tell them all the time, one of the very first things I tell them is, like, if you are here for the money, like, and that's the only reason you're here, you're probably not going to like this job. Because, like, they're literally, you can go and get a job at a fast food place making $15, $16 an hour, and ultimately, like, that is almost about what you're going to be making when you start off as a nurse, doing twice as much work as you'd be doing if you're working at a fast food place. Like, if you're not here for the right reasons, you're not going to like it. It's just not going to be for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't try to dissuade anybody, but still, like, you should be aware that it's not going to be what you think it is if you're just in it for the money. Like, you worked your ass off, and it's not only physically taxing because you're running around constantly, but it's just so.
Well, for example, like what for you, like a good example is like for what you're hardly home. Like you've gotten used to calling a specific hotel home. Like,
sure,
it's natural to you to be like, oh, I'm on my way home, and I go home or.
Right, my hotel home, some random hotel, yeah.
And I don't doubt that.
I have a unique job, and a lot of people do, like stay home, but still, like the healthcare field never stops. Like we do not have a day off. There is no closing time. There's no holidays off. Like there always are people who need help, right? Like we're always caring for people. There is no such thing as
Yeah.
Right. There's no such thing as an off time. Like, and people are so overworked and just like, there's constantly all these studies I've read about, like, how, like, the amounts of sleep that doctors get are stupid. Like, on average, like 4 hours a night, like 3 to 4 hours a night,
terrible.
like, or a day, I should say. Like, that's insane, dude. That is fucking insane. I know one of my good friends is a doctor, and like he, like literally, we can try to go out to dinner or something like that, and we're lucky if we're there for a half an hour, 45 minutes before he has to. Like he never brings his family with him because like he'll get a call and he'll have to leave and go to the hospital, and like 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, can never have a single drink because you never know when he's going to have to go in and treat a patient or do you know what I mean, a procedure or
what's the appeal of him to have that job then? You know what I mean? Like
that's what I'm getting. That's exactly my point. Like if you don't love caring for people, like if that is not,
but there's no way he loves doing that. There's no way that he loves. There's no fucking way.
Dude, I have devoted my entire life to this field, and I will tell you, I thoroughly enjoy.
I don't doubt that you
like,
love
more than
your job,
anything,
but like.
Carrie.
I guarantee you there's a part where it's like, man, I'd love to just like have a drink and go home to my family.
Absolutely.
Right?
There's rarely a day that goes by where there's not at least a point in the day where I'm like, fuck this line of work, dude, fuck healthcare, fuck this whole thing. But ultimately at the end, I mean, like when it's all said and done.
Well, I'm sure there's payoffs, right? There's payoffs where like when you realize that you've really, really helped, you know? Like I can't imagine.
There's nothing like it, dude.
I can't imagine that every day is like you're ending every day like you just saved the world. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee you there's days where you're just like, what the fuck?
And that's and again, that goes back to like most people in healthcare are not in it for the wrong reasons. Because most days you go home, just been working a 12-hour shift. You're covered in piss, shit, blood, whatever it may be. You just got done having a family member scream at you or a patient scream at you and tell you how much of a fucking idiot you are, right? And I would say that's 5 days out of the week, right? 5 days out of the week, that's how you're going home. 2 days out of the week, maybe you're going home and you're saying like, you know, I made, like you go home with that, like I saved the day kind of thing. But even on the shitty days, you can go home, and even if your patients don't appreciate it at the time, you made a difference. Like, you did the right thing, and you helped them. They may not realize it at the time. They might not be happy with you, and that's okay. That's our job. Like, we are there to get yelled at. Like, that, it sucks, but, like, a lot of times we're the bearer of bad news. Like, we are not telling people what they want to hear, but we're telling them the truth, and we're doing what's best for them, or we're trying to, right? Like, we're trying to help still. So even if there's so many times where people come back and was like, listen, I'm sorry, like I was a total asshole when I was, you know, in your facility or when you took care of me, and like in hindsight, like you guys were great, right? And like those moments are great. That's fantastic. But even without that, like I know that I made a difference still. I know I did the right thing. Like, you know, that person may not be happy, but like I told, and sometimes like, I don't know, sometimes we have to tell people shit that is not something they want to hear, and it's not the greatest thing in the world. Like, we have to tell, like, the worst thing ever is telling, like, family members that their loved one is dying, or, God forbid, their loved one passed away, which happens, you know? Like, we have to make those calls.
Right.
And, you know, and I mean, but still, we know that, like, we did everything we could. We gave that person the best care while they were alive. At least I know, like, I treated that person how I would want to be treated in that situation. Like, if I gave them some comfort in those last moments, if I could comfort that family when they come in, or comfort that patient, like, did we win the day? No. Are we always going to? No. People died. That's just how it is. Like, and that's something that you just have to learn over time. And it's, again, it's the worst part of the job. But still, like, even then we're making a difference, right? Like, I can't think of a greater honor, because I did some hospice work for a while, and
that's tough.
It's not that I like it.
Job.
Nobody likes it, but like you can. I guess I do want to say I like it, because you do, like, I can't think of any greater honor than like being able to care for someone in their last days and give them the care that they deserve in their last days, right? Like, there's no greater honor than that. I can't think of anything that I could do with my life that would be more fulfilling than that.
Yeah, no, I can't argue. I can't argue that, and I wouldn't even try.
Right.
What I do want to ask is, it's such a big industry, right? I mean,
it is. It's humongous.
Not only in America, everywhere, because it's a necessity.
Sure.
So, an industry being that big, you obviously, like every industry, you have some bad eggs. Like,
Absolutely.
What, like, so, like, there is a, you've probably seen the article. This is a while ago. This is over a year ago for sure. There was a woman in a vegetative state who gave birth.
Okay.
And obviously through DNA testing, they found out that it was a caretaker.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do. Yeah.
What? Like, so in your mind, and obviously that is such a small ratio compared to just the healthcare industry. How many people are in there? How many people are there for the good? Like, what the fuck is going through someone's mind to do that? Like, how do they fall into this industry where so many people are there because they enjoy helping others?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they get there, but they do, because it's not like a single case. Like, unfortunately, those things
it's
happen.
Here and there. Like, those things happen.
It doesn't come to, like, that ends up being a story because that person gave birth, but like, even locally, like, we hear stories of, like, people being fired because they molested or took pictures of residents naked, or just terrible things, really terrible, horrible things. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Like, what even got them into that industry? Just they thought that it was a money grab, or?
I don't think it could be. No, like, maybe they were into that kind of thing and they saw that was their opening. Like, I don't know. I'm just really, like, grasping at straws.
You think it's that over the? Yeah, I guess I could see that.
People have their weird fetishes, and they will go through great lengths to play out those fetishes, like, you know what I mean, or play out those, like, I don't know, like I said, that's totally just there's no evidence behind that. That's just like, but honestly, it's just because I can't think of any other. I don't know. It's terrible. It's terrible. And there was just an article, and it was pretty big. And this was relatively recently. There was a nurse in, it was over in, I think, Europe, but I might be mistaken. It was overseas, though, not in America, that was convicted, I think it might have been Germany, but was convicted of killing, like, literally hundreds, or like in the 100 of patients. Like, he was, like, linked back to him that, like, he would have, and he would, like, slowly, like, poison them or overdose them and things like that, like, with medications that either A, couldn't be tracked, or either A, couldn't be tracked, or B, just, like, patients they knew would not, like, there wouldn't be an autopsy done on.
Yeah.
So, the same thing, like, and that's not, like, because a lot of times we see this, like, that kind of stuff happen in, like, I want to say entry-level healthcare jobs, like STNAs and things like that. And nothing against STNAs. I love me some STNAs.
What is that?
State-tested nurse aide, or like CNA, certified nurse aides. Like, they're the ones that are like assistants to nurses. They don't need a lot of education. They get paid shit, which is unfortunate. They deserve much more money than they make. But, like, it's an entry-level healthcare job. And a lot of times those are the cases we see where people are, like, molesting people, and a lot of the abuse cases and things like that come from, like, STNAs or CNAs. But, like, this was a nurse, and like, a pretty, like, I wouldn't say renowned nurse, but worked in a really good hospital, like, was there for a long time.
Well, it's funny. Like, it's funny, though, because you also have, so that is something where you can't. There's something fucked up with that person, because they did that specifically to kill that person, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, actually, they were convicted of, like I said, I think over 100 murders. Like, murders. They fucking killed people.
Yeah. Now, there is another scenario, though, where, say, you have a surgeon who's supposed to be really good at his job, right? And so this is based off of a true story that I could tell you off air, but for purposes of staying anonymous and letting everyone else stay anonymous. So there's a kid born with spina bifida, and the doctor, the surgeon, says, "Hey, this is super serious. We gotta do surgery now."
Okay.
Does surgery, winds up putting the kid in a halo, and for those of you that don't know what that is, it's how would you explain that? Like how
it's a it's an external metal device with like screws that keeps the skull like in place, essentially,
right.
like keeps like the spine and skull like in
Right.
place, so like you can't move your neck, essentially.
Yep.
Like it's to keep like your neck in place, like
so
kind of thing.
With that halo,
Sort of.
some of the screws in allegedly too far into the frontal lobe area. I believe is what, and then multiple more surgeries because it was stated it was so serious to do it. This kid is now, let's say 13 years old, still in the brain of a 1-year-old, more or less. This doctor, so many cases against him for it, and there's civil suits going on against him, and he fled back to his country of Pakistan.
Right? So, like, what, did they determine he was doing this on purpose, or just a shitty doctor?
On purpose. On purpose. On purpose. Okay. But however, here's the thing: that when you separate the end result to the reason he was doing this on purpose, there is a part of me that, and I don't want to sound shitty to the victim because that's not the case at all, and again, I could further explain off air. Yeah. For a doctor to do that, or to feel so confident to do that time and time and time again, you're talking over 40 fucking people, right? He must have thought, or must have had something in his mind that made him think that he was about to find the solution, right? That he was going to be the next big thing. Do you not think? Like,
I mean, if that really was, if that was the reason. So he was kind of doing more like experimental procedures without the consent of the patient. Is that kind of more what it?
1,000%.
Okay. I mean, still totally fucked and unethical, like extremely unethical.
Right.
But I don't know. Here's I'm going to say this. I'll say this. There are unimaginable amounts of situations in which we are doing things in the healthcare field behind the scenes without the knowledge of the patient in order to try to better help the patient. We are doing things without you knowing it, without telling you, because it's not always going to be helpful to the situation if you're aware of some of the treatment goals or treatment plans. And
yeah, but I would say that is so far from
for sure
someone under surgery about and lying about the surgery, right? Like that.
Can I tell you this though? If I was a surgeon, I would 100% write my name in people with my little scalpel. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I would,
what?
Sign my work.
You've thought about this?
Yeah, I would sign my work. Yeah.
Do you think that it would show up in X-rays later on?
I'm hoping. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that would. Probably not. I don't know if scar tissue would build up, or maybe when you suture them up, just kind of suture. No, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. But if you could suture your name in there, that'd be pretty cool.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, dude, come on. That's why I'm not a surgeon, dude. Oh, shit, dude. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, man. That's I guess it's the means. But again, a lot of people do a lot of bad things for good reasons, right? And that doesn't make them good things or make them right. It's just people do bad things with best intentions, right? Isn't that one of the sayings? Some of the worst things done.
Maybe,
but
because it didn't work out, do you think it's still okay to flee?
No, he should have stayed and faced the consequences of his actions. I mean,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's totally fucked. I mean, like, that's especially a procedure where you would not want to, that's a very high risk for very little possible reward. I guess, at least, like, in that setting, you could be looking at these things, like, with consent, have a bigger team available to work with you. I think it's selfish to do it that way. I think that's extremely selfish. If he thought he had a true, like, breakthrough.
And whether or not he thought he did is my own theory, right?
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. He's a fucking asshole, dude. He's just fucking. He's an asshole.
It's interesting.
For sure.
It's because it would be easy to just take one side, but for sake of conversation, it's an interesting.
Okay, so
thing.
I got a question for you here. So placebos. There's been some controversy about this. Do you think a doctor, because they just changed the law a couple years ago?
Bro? No, I'm kidding.
Like, do you think a doctor should have to tell you that they are giving you a placebo instead of a medication, even though that would totally destroy the whole purpose of the placebo effect, which is proven to be effective? I just want to point that out there.
They are
time and time again.
Yeah, a placebo is in fact proven to be effective. Yeah,
right.
100%. It's out there. The data's there. But what scenario are you saying?
So there's like the argument is, like, in the healthcare field, is like the new AMA law, or I think it's AMA, but like the new AMA regulation.
Ask me anything.
Huh? Ask me anything. Yeah. I think it's American Medical Association.
Oh, okay, that's better. Hey, this is the new AMA law. Take these pills. Doc, that's Ask Me Anything. Are these placebo? He's like, right. You got me.
Damn it. Son of a bitch. No, I'm pretty sure it was AMA, but whoever makes regulations, regardless, doesn't matter. It decided that it's unethical to give patients placebos without their knowledge that it's placebos. But again, that would totally destroy the whole.
Well, in what scenario are they doing that, and why?
Okay, so if I'm a doctor,
right,
and I have a condition that I have tried everything else on, like I've tried other medications, they've been unsuccessful. There is no procedures that would be a benefit to you as a patient. And at this point, I am out of options. I cannot tell you that as a patient that you are fucked and you're out of options. Like, that's the last thing we want to do in the medical field. Something a doctor could do is give someone a medication, say, look.
But give me an example. Is this depression, or is this back pain? Is this
anything, any kind of, I mean, honestly, anything that, like, we can't get to the bottom.
I think there's got to be a threshold. There certainly has to be a threshold.
Let's say that it's back pain. And we've tried opiates, we've tried giving you injections, we've tried everything. We've done procedures, nothing is successful at this point. We don't know what else to try. If I say there's this new medication that is, we think that this will help.
And it's more or less.
We don't know.
It's
a new medication. We don't know a lot about it, but there is a lot of research that shows that this could help you with your back pain. And we give you a placebo without telling you that it's placebo, because really we're out of options here. And like, this may work, right? None of what I just said was lies. None of it. Like, what I just said was we have a new medication, which, I mean, it's not really new, but I said that this may help you. We don't know exactly how it works, because that's the truth. We don't know how placebos work, but it has been shown to help, which is also true. So none of that is lies. I just haven't told you I'm giving you a sugar pill. That's the only thing I have not told you.
I think that's fine. And because ultimately you're not fucking with someone's inability to get their hands on an opiate if they're an addict. You're going if they're an addict and they're trying to get opiates, you go about it a different way and try and seek help for them. You don't try and trick them into thinking they're taking it. Right?
Sure.
So
this isn't like an addict situation.
No, I think that's fine
yeah.
because ultimately they've already tried all these different types of opiates. They've already tried all these different types of painkillers. Nothing's helping this fucking back pain. Here's the thing is, what is next after? Is this placebo? Like, what is the point of the placebo then at that point? Because obviously this placebo is like, well, clearly this isn't going to work if the actual things that kill pain aren't working, right?
Not true.
Well, then in that case, it's just about how good of a salesman that doctor is and making it sound
correct, and how much that person believes that it is going to help them. Because it has been shown time and time again that even in like
so then what's the result? What's the result if they come back and like this works even less? Is it like, okay, then we should explore surgery?
Well, then I mean, what do we have to lose at that point? If we've tried everything else, there is no negatives to this, right? Like, we have no other
option. Should a
options.
placebo always be the last option before surgery?
I mean, I think surgery should be an option before placebos. I'm saying, let's say this person has had procedures and it's still, like, what placebos, like, we're out of options. There's nothing we know to give this person at this point. We don't know what to do for this person. We have done everything we can do. So at this point, we have nothing to lose by giving a placebo. Best case scenario, they think it works, which it's not they think it works, it does work. It's been shown to actually relieve pain.
Yeah, I mean, I
Your
guess
body produces endorphins.
I've got nothing wrong with that because you've tried everything else.
Right, and what do you have to lose? Worst case scenario, they say this fucking thing doesn't work, and you're like, okay, well, at least we tried.
The issue.
So you have no problem with that.
If I were a doctor, the fear in that would be for that guy to come back, or that girl to come, woman, come back and say, hey, this really did wonders. That would blow my mind as a doctor.
But that is what the placebo, dude, that is it. That is, like, seriously, that's why people are so blown away by the placebo effect, because that's what happens time and time and time.
But as a doctor, wouldn't that weigh on you? Because now you have to lie to that patient for forever.
You don't. That's the whole thing.
It's not okay to come,
but
it's not okay to come clean then and be like, oh, well, that was a fucking sugar pill, you retard. That's not.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't want to say that, but you would also would never. That's why the way I worded it, you have to be very careful. Like, as a doctor, the way you word it, you would say, again, we don't know how this works. All we know is that it does work sometimes, and that's true of the placebo effect. So you wouldn't be lying.
I know, but I'm saying no. I understand that, but I'm saying when they come back, after they've tried it and they come back and they say, yes, this worked, keep me on this. You, as the doctor, now have to lie for the rest of that time.
I would just keep prescribing it. As a doctor, if it's working, if the treatment plan is working.
If I were the doctor, that would weigh on me.
I don't think so. Well, I mean, I know, and I'm not trying to downplay that would weigh on you. I'm just saying, me personally, it would not. I know that I've tried everything else I can try. This is working, and that's all that matters, is that this is working.
I mean, I guess, but that's not, to me, that's not all that matters. What matters is that there is something about the placebo that is successful that I need to get to the bottom of. But how do I get to the bottom of that?
Well, see, that's the thing. We don't know. People have tried. We don't really know. We don't know how the placebo effect works.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's not the pill.
You just got to be able to accept that.
It's not the pill.
Right. It's your mind.
It's the mind. It's the human mind.
Psychosomatic. Yeah. Correct.
But so that's the thing. Is what was it that I said that totally sold them on this, or was it
at that point?
Was it the mystique
you need to change your major
product?
from internalist. At that point, you need to change your major from internalist to neurochemist, because that's what you're looking at that point. It's neurochemistry and the brain producing different endorphins.
Those people are just a bunch of fucks, though. No, I'm kidding.
That's an asshole group right there. Those guys. Those guys are dorks.
I don't even want to look at their median salary. Jesus Christ.
Those guys are dorks, for sure.
Fucking, they don't play hot potato. They play cold brain. Pass it around.
I got to hold a brain once, dude. It was great.
I got to hold a brain once in elementary school, and I thought that was odd.
Like a human brain?
Yeah, they brought it in. They brought a couple of them in.
In elementary school?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did you go to? Did you go to fucking Norman Bates fucking elementary school, dude? Like, what kind of fucking...
You know where I went.
Fucking places. Yeah, but geez, dude, I never realized they were fucking...
Well, it stuck with me. I
Sure.
don't know what they try to teach us, but I'll tell you what, man, that smell of the formaldehyde, is that what it is? The formaldehyde? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, how does an elementary school teacher get human fucking brains?
They did. I held it.
That's some black market shit. I'm telling you. She did not get that from any he or she did not get that from any reputable source, I can tell you that.
I believe it was the red market.
Ah, the red market, my friend. Yes, yeah. Yeah, how do you feel about all that, man? The organ trade?
I don't know. Well, China's a different place. However, this was before that. This was my question for you. Was do you believe that America has figured out the healthcare system the best? Or, like, who do you think? Do you have an opinion on who, or?
No, not really. No. Like, as far as like payment, like paying and shit,
I just know that's kind of more political, right? But
it is. No, I think it all sucks, honestly. Like, I don't know. Being like someone who is on the patient care side of things, like, I worked for a brief amount of time in a position where my focus was more on the finances of healthcare, and I hated it. I hated having to make decisions that affected patients based on money. I did not like to turn people away because they could not afford to pay for services. Like, I hated everything. I'm a nurse, dude. Like, so I take care of, you know what I mean? Like, that's not my jam for sure. But somebody told me once, an administrator told me once something that did stick with me, and he said that, if we can't keep the lights on, we can't take care of anybody. At the end of the day, we are a business. And that's true.
It's true.
There's truth to that, right? Like, if we aren't having people pay their bills, then we can't afford to care for anyone, right? Like, we can't afford to care for a single person if we can't, pay the bills. Like, if we have people skipping out on their bills, we can't pay our staff. You know what I mean? Like, that raise you were supposed to get. Sorry, we've had 50 people come into the ER that didn't pay their, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 bills. Like, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough for me. I don't know. I mean, like, I love the idea of universal health care. I think that is a human right. Sure, I'm not saying that I don't believe that, but at the same time, healthcare workers have to get paid, right? Like, people have to. Somebody has to be paying for it.
Yeah,
somebody has to be paying.
Absolutely.
And I mean, do I think there's issues with, like, I think, do the hospitals overcharge? Sure. Do I think the companies that charge the hospital for the equipment overcharge? Sure. Do I think the pharmaceutical companies overcharge? Absolutely. They gouge people to death. So maybe instead of relying on the people to pay for this, or like to figure out this issue, like to solve this problem, like instead of expecting the public to come to the rescue, maybe we should look at these corporations that are charging these excessive amounts and figure out a way to drive that price down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, I don't know. I feel like that's probably a lot of the focus to begin with. Is it not?
I don't know that it is. Because every time I hear about healthcare, it's like, well, we raise taxes, we raise taxes, we raise taxes. We're going to tax and we're going to take from this and we're going to take from that, and that's how we're going to pay for it. And I'm like, well, why do we need to be paying this excessive amount to begin with? Is anybody even talking about that? I mean, they are, but like people just kind of bitch and moan about it, and then it goes away, right? Like people just kind of bitch and moan, like, oh, well, things are expensive. Damn it, we're going to pay it anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Maybe we should think more like I said, like our government should look more into these crazy prices that, these companies charge and figure out, like, there's got to be a way to keep them in business because we need them.
It'd be interesting to see, like, these crazy prices, because something that I did years ago that did a lot for me in terms of stocks, like just day trading and that sort of thing, that I don't do as much day trading anymore as I do just the long haul, buy and let it sit. But in order to get where I am today with the stocks, I did a lot of day trading in like pharmaceutical companies, and I wonder how much that plays a role in these prices. You know what I mean? In the overall market price, because if I know that a company has this new product out to help whatever kind of cancer, right? Let's just say cancer, and I know that this market or this product is the word on the street is that it is about to get cleared by, what is it, FDA, or it's going to go on to, I don't even remember the correct terms at this point. It's been a while, but they go like cleared for level 3,
like
or something
basically like approved for the public kind of thing. Like it's went through the clinical trials and it's going.
Yeah. But like so specifically in the clinical trials, there's platforms, right? So there's more than one clinical trial. 3
platforms.
Right.
Correct.
So when I know or I hear that it got passed to go on to the 3rd, that's a big moment to buy in.
For sure.
When I know that if it's a product that people were weary on, but it still got passed a product to go to the 3rd, and if I know that people are still weary, I hold back until I start to see positive press come out, and then I'll buy in, because then I know that it will be approved. The more likely it is approved to be released to the public, the higher that price is going to go for the product, obviously. And so that's where I always kind of hovered around. So I wonder how much of that and how much of someone playing that game that I once played plays a role into the actual price when it does hit the public market.
I don't know. That's honestly something I would have never ever thought about. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a damn valid point. I just never. Yeah, see, that's something that never would have crossed my mind is how much that plays into it. I used to, dude, like every back then every second mattered. I would just have it on my phone, my laptop, checking. There's a website out there. There's a couple websites out there. A big one, a fun one, is Stock Twits. It's almost like a Twitter. It's almost like a social media kind of platform for stocks, right? And so you get to kind of weed out the people that are purposely trying to talk up a product to try and get people to buy in, to lower the overall price so they can buy, and vice versa. Like, and so they can sell their shares, and just there's a whole game to it. It can be very addicting in and of itself, and I used to play the game, and it worked pretty well for a while, and until just too much life going on to continue doing that, because it worked really well, but it wasn't something where I'm like, oh, I could do this every day
as a job. Like, there's no fucking way. You know, like,
right.
There's nothing creative to it. It's, you know, but it was fun. It was fun watching that, and it was fun finding trends. It was fun seeing who the liars are. It was fun seeing who the people were who were just more truthful, because the more truthful people were actually just asking questions that kind of knew the answers already, and you could kind of pick that apart.
Right.
And then there's people out there that were interesting, like the who is that guy that had he's like a hedge fund dude. He's a douchebag guy. He bought the Wu-Tang album. You know what I'm talking about?
So Soros? Did Soros buy Wu-Tang?
Who?
George Soros?
I don't know. Is that his name?
Who the fuck bought the Wu-Tang? I don't know. Hedge fund. I mean, he's definitely a hedge fund guy.
He's a douchebag. Douchebag, younger looking kid.
Oh, no. This guy's looks like the Crypt Keeper. Fuck. I don't know, man.
Let's see. Martin Shkreli. Remember him?
Fuck no.
Pharma's bad boy. You don't remember him?
No, dude.
Judge orders Martin Shkreli to hand over Wu-Tang Clan album. You don't remember him?
Son of a bitch. I remember the whole Wu-Tang incident. I don't think I knew his name. That name doesn't sound familiar, but I remember the Wu-Tang incident.
I mean, I would probably botch his story, but he was more or less an American businessman, a hedge fund manager, and co-founder of a hedge fund. What did he do here? Let's look it up.
Not worth as much money as I thought he would be.
Also seeking unspecified punitive damages, known as Pharma Bro. Shkreli 36 is perhaps best known for raising the price of anti-parasitic drug Daraprim by more than 5,000%. So that's what he would do to spike prices, and you know, because if you own that, then you spike the price. It's a net worth $27.1 million. Yada yada yada. And there was a point where he really, really leaned into it. Just that whole persona.
How long is he in prison for?
I don't know. I mean, he's probably not in prison.
No, it says he is. Well, let me see where this article is from. Hang on a second. I don't think when this is from. No, this is 2019, November. Shkreli will remain in prison until he's completed his sentence. But what's the sentence? Not seeing his fucking sentence here, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's because he's not in prison.
You think it's like a fucking whatchamacallit?
Yeah, it's probably a whatchamacallit.
Jesus, not a whatchamacallit. That's the worst. That's the worst of all. No, who's that fucker that didn't commit suicide? That everybody's like, you know, the guy who didn't kill himself.
He was sentenced to 7 years.
Epstein.
Shkreli was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison and up to $7.4 million in fines. There ain't no fucking way that he's spending 7 years in prison.
Yeah. I mean, probably not.
No.
Probably not.
So yeah, he raised. So like that's the thing for that pill. He raised it instead of a percentage. Here, he raised it from $13.50 to $750 per pill.
Yeah, I mean, he's a piece of shit.
That's insane.
He's a piece of shit. Well, look at what is it? I'm having a brain fart here. When you're allergic, the injection. Come on, help me out here. You get a bee sting, you got the injection.
Well, I'm just like
told. Epinephrine, yeah. They I mean, that went up by ridiculous amounts too. That
really?
went up by, I don't even remember how many percentage, 500% or something like that. Yeah. With no changes to the drug, like 500% in 10 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see the price jump on epinephrine. Price jump EpiPen. I know it went up just a stupid amount. Oh, I put Prince jump, and I literally got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air episodes. Okay, here we go. So in 2007, it was $50 per auto injector. Now it's slightly over $600 for a 2-pack.
Huh.
So if you don't want to die from an allergic reaction, you're gonna have to fork up $600 fucking bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm allergic to bees, and I don't have an EpiPen, and it sounds like I'm not going to get one anytime soon.
No, you're not. You're not.
Holy shit.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, I don't know, man. What do you think over, how do you want to wrap this one? Healthcare sucks.
Yeah, it's
an
interesting thing.
It's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
It is it's a necessary evil, right?
It is very much, yeah. It is the financial aspects of it is a necessary evil.
But here's the thing to it. If you are seriously in trouble, seriously ill, and you go to a hospital, you can't be denied.
No, you can't.
So, I mean, just remember that. Like, anyone listening, just remember that. Like, you can't be denied because you don't have...
And we weren't trying to discourage anyone by any means. By, I know I was, like I said, I'm not totally, sold on universal health care. But at the same time, I do think that it should, people should have it. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I just don't know. I guess I don't know the answers to how we get there. That's what I don't understand. I would love to get there. I just don't know that I like the solutions we have right now.
Like everything else, there's no way to get anywhere without hurting some people already. That actually goes back to stocks. Like, if I'm winning, it means someone's losing.
Right, always.
That's
somebody's got to be a loser, and it sucks. But yeah, so that being said, we weren't trying to discourage. Like for sure, go to the hospital, go seek emergency treatment if there's an emergency. By all means, do that.
They cannot turn you down. By law.
No, they cannot. Correct, 100% by law, they cannot turn you down. So go get your weird foot fungus checked out today.
Right. Just expect your application to buy a house to be denied one day if you didn't pay that bill, though.
And your antifungal medication to cost $700 a pill.
Possibly.
Yeah, so you'll get that bill from the hospital. It'll probably be about $1,000 from the hospital, $700 from the pharmacy, $1,000 from the hospital.
Jesus Christ. So, anyways, this is how I actually want to end it. I want to ask everyone to please, rate and review the pod, especially on iTunes.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. And do I dare say that we've got an email set up?
Yes. I mean, kind of, yes. We will certainly, we do not at this current moment in time, we will have one set up though.
Yeah, but by the time everyone is listening to this.
Yes. Correct. There will be an email set up. Let me see if we can get one that's available here. So we're going to do right now.
We're going to do it right now. Live.
So we're going to set up a motherfucking account right now, dude, as we speak. So, well, we couldn't do it any other way, dude. I mean, come on.
Right. So we want. No, we would not. Let's start with one email, right? Let's start with that.
Yes, one email.
And what do you want the email to be, ideally?
Well, that's what I'm going to see is what is available here.
Well, that's a lot to look at if you're just asking what's available. How about we narrow it down?
I think it's going to be
asterisk,
SY.
hashtag.
SY. What is our?
It is the acronym of stuff you wouldn't say out loud, right? So it is.
That's correct.
SYWSOL at.
Hey, what do you want your fake name to be though? Because I gotta put a name on here. So what do you want your fake last name to be?
My fake last name should be Jaworski.
Okay, can you spell that?
Just how it sounds, actually.
Oh, fuck. It's going to be Miller. No, it's going to be Yoder. It's going to be Yoder, dude. Jake Yoder is what you're... Jake Yoder.
Hey, let's not give away, like, the password, too. Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, dude, I plan on giving away the password. You're going to be born on April 20th.
Okay.
4/20, 1969, of course.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, my.
That was a good
No,
day.
I don't want any of these. Create our own.
4/20/69. Oh, yeah.
So, stuff you shouldn't.
No, wouldn't. Jesus. Wouldn't.
Dude, I told you I'm all jacked up on
SYWSOL,
SYWSOL, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
SYWSOL at gmail.com.
Nope, not available.
What?
Not available. Here, let's do that pod at gmail.com.
Do what?
We got it! So it's SY, say the letters.
Holy shit, slow down. All right, restart.
We do got it, though. That's it.
We don't know what it is yet. Me, including the viewers.
So hang on a second here.
Holy
shit.
Let
me put in a password here.
How about you text me the password later? Don't shout it out.
I'm not going to say. I'm not. Okay. You got that. Oh, shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You're so bad at this.
I am living large right now.
God,
all right, I think we're good on that.
My biggest concern is that you're not going to remember the password.
I got it. I got it.
So what's the
I got it. So it's SYWSOL pod at gmail.com.
SYWSOL pod, that is POD, at gmail.com. So send us topic ideas. Send us just your questions. And what we're going to leave you off on is a question about gypsies and witches.
Oh, yeah, we got to get some. We
just want some feedback,
yeah.
right? So
we desperately
and also
feedback.
to add on to, please, on iTunes and everywhere else, leaving us, just a rating and a review. That's huge. It's huge, just to climb the wall full of just thousands and thousands and thousands of other podcasts. Also, just tell a friend. Tell a friend. Like, we're not that bad. So, well, don't
phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Yeah, don't tell a friend that takes shit seriously. Because we're not in that market. But
don't tell your friends that suck either, because we don't want them.
Yeah, we definitely don't want the sucky friends. But anyways,
don't tell any dorks about this, because we don't want them.
I think we're on the same page, right? Let us know.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Let us know. we think a gypsy can be a witch, but a witch cannot be a gypsy.
Correct.
And to add on to it, all gypsies are whores, but not all whores are gypsies. So let us know. Go ahead and reach back out to us.
Right.
I think that's how we should absolutely end this episode.
This fucking clusterfuck.
Thanks for listening. I am Jay.
Thank you so much. I am Mike.
And that is the motherfucking pod. Have a good night.
We're out.
Till next week.